1906, the Hepburn Act, which was passed at President Roosevelt's behalf, which expanded the ICC's powers beyond just the railroads, other kinds of transportations, to see if they can reduce rates if they find them unreasonable, so there are no monopolies. 1908, President Roosevelt chooses Secretary of War William Howard Taft as his successor for the Republicans and wins against the Democrat William Jennings Bryan. In 1910, the progressive movement becomes a more popular thing, and the word progressive is becoming more popular and used in American society and politics. In 1910, the Mans-Elkins Act is passed in order to strengthen the ICC, which again is the Interstate Commerce Commission. In 1911, the Department of Labor, run by the Taft administration, is created. In 1912, there's an election where Taft gains Republican backing. So Roosevelt creates his own party, at first called the Progressive Party, but then he said a quote that something along the line of, "I'm as strong as a bull moose," so then his party was then called the Bull Moose Party. But ultimately, Woodrow Wilson wins. And on February 3rd, 1913, the 16th Amendment is passed, which allows Congress to levy income taxes. April 8th, 1913, the 17th Amendment is passed, which allows U.S. senators to be directly elected instead of going through state legislators. September in 1914, President Wilson signs the Federal Trade Commission Act, which creates the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission. In October 1914, the Clayton Antitrust Act is signed, which basically tries to make business fair and keep large businesses from taking over small businesses, and legalizes boycotts, picketing, and peaceful strikes, so it basically helps out the unions and stops monopolies. And in 1916, Woodrow Wilson is re-elected as the president. In 1916, the Keating-Owens Act is an act that fights child labor, and it prohibits people from shipping goods made by children across state lines. In June 1917, the Espionage Act is passed, which, if you are interfering with the draft or encourage disloyalty, you can face up to 20 years and $10,000 in fines. November 11th, 1918, Germany surrenders to Allied forces, and it's known as Armistice. And January 18th, 1919, the Versailles Peace Conference happened to help settle up for World War I, and Woodrow Wilson becomes the first sitting president to leave the United States. And then at the ending, in 1920, Prohibition starts, and that's where the government bans all production, importation, transportation, consumption, and sale of alcohol in the United States. And that's my presentation.